Imagine waking up tomorrow with no anxiety about the future, no regret about the past, and no constant noise in your head. Sounds impossible, right? But according to The Power of Now, most human suffering exists for one reason. We are never fully present in the moment we're living in. Think about this for a second. Your body is here, but your mind? It's replaying old mistakes, worrying about money, stressing about relationships, imagining problems that haven't even happened yet. And what if that constant thinking is actually destroying your peace? That's the life-changing idea behind The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, a book that completely changed how millions of people see happiness, success, stress, and the human mind. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why this book became one of the most influential self-help books ever written, and how its lessons can radically transform your daily life.
Around the late 1990s, Eckhart Tolle was not a famous teacher. In fact, he was deeply depressed. For years, he struggled with anxiety and emotional pain, until one night, something strange happened. He said he had a thought so intense that it changed his life forever. The thought was, I cannot live with myself any longer. But then he stopped and questioned it. If I cannot live with myself, then who is the I, and who is the myself? That single realization cracked something open inside him. He suddenly understood that there were actually two parts of him, the real awareness and the non-stop voice inside his head. And this is exactly where the book becomes incredibly powerful. Because most people believe they are their thoughts. But Tolle says, you are not your mind. You are the awareness observing the mind. That one idea alone can completely change how you experience life.
The central message of The Power of Now is simple. The present moment is all you ever truly have. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, only now. Yet, most people live trapped between memories and imagination. We replay embarrassing moments from years ago. We fear things that might never happen. We tie our happiness to future success. I'll be happy when I make more money. I'll feel peaceful when life becomes easier. I'll finally relax after I achieve my goals. But according to the book, that mindset keeps people permanently disconnected from peace. Because the future never arrives. When tomorrow comes, it becomes another now. Most people never realize this until it's too late. They spend their entire lives mentally absent from the very life they're living.
One of the most important concepts in the book is something Tolle calls the pain body. And honestly, this idea hits hard. The pain body is basically accumulated emotional pain. Every rejection, every heartbreak, every humiliation, every betrayal. Instead of fully processing those emotions, people store them deep inside themselves. Then one small event triggers it. Someone ignores your text. Your partner says one wrong thing. Your boss criticizes you. And suddenly, your reaction becomes way bigger than the actual situation. Why? Because you're not reacting only to the present moment. You're reacting from years of accumulated pain. This is where most people get it wrong. They think external situations create suffering. But often, suffering comes from unconscious emotional patterns living inside us. And the scary part? Many people become addicted to emotional drama without realizing it. They repeatedly create conflict, negativity, and stress because their pain body feeds on emotional intensity. But the moment you become aware of it, you begin to break free. Awareness is the first step toward healing. Another powerful lesson from the book is about overthinking. Tolle explains that the human mind is an incredible tool, but a terrible master. Most people cannot stop thinking for even a few seconds. Their minds constantly judge, compare, complain, worry, and analyze. And slowly, This endless mental noise steals their joy. Have you ever noticed how hard it is to simply sit quietly without grabbing your phone, checking notifications, or thinking about the next thing? That's because modern life rewards mental distraction. But peace only exists in presence. And this is where the book offers one of its most practical exercises. Instead of trying to force your thoughts away, simply observe them. Notice the voice in your head. Listen to it like an outsider. The moment you observe your thoughts, you create distance from them. You stop being trapped inside every emotion and mental story. It's almost like stepping out of a storm and watching it from outside the window. The storm may still exist, but it no longer controls you.
Now, here's where people often misunderstand the message. Being present does not mean becoming lazy or unmotivated. Tolle is not saying don't plan, don't work, don't chase goals. He's saying don't psychologically depend on the future for your identity or happiness. There's a huge difference. You can still build a business, still pursue success, still work hard. But instead of living in constant stress and fear, you operate from clarity and presence. Think about elite athletes. When they perform at their best, they're not obsessing over the future. They're fully immersed in the moment. That's presence. And ironically, people often perform better when they stop mentally fighting reality. The book also talks deeply about relationships, and this section is incredibly eye-opening. Tolle explains that many relationships are built on emotional dependency instead of genuine love. People use relationships to escape loneliness, insecurity, or emptiness. But when another person becomes responsible for your inner peace, suffering begins. Because no human being can permanently complete you. That's a dangerous expectation. True love, according to the book, happens when two people share presence instead of emotional neediness. Imagine listening to someone without mentally preparing your response, without judgment, without distraction, just fully being there. That kind of presence transforms relationships. Because most people don't actually listen. They wait for their turn to speak. And honestly, that one realization alone can improve friendships, marriages, parenting, and communication almost immediately. Now let's talk about one of the most practical ideas in the entire book: acceptance. Not weakness, not giving up, acceptance. Tolle says suffering increases when we mentally resist reality. Traffic happens. Failure happens. People disappoint us. Life becomes unfair. But most suffering comes from the mind screaming, "This shouldn't be happening." And that internal resistance creates emotional pain on top of the actual problem. Acceptance means seeing reality clearly first, before deciding what to do next. It gives you emotional stability. Think about this carefully. When your mind stops fighting reality, your energy becomes available for action instead of stress. And this is exactly why calm people often make better decisions under pressure. One of the most unforgettable lines from the book is basically this: realize deeply that the present moment is all you have. That idea sounds simple, but it's profound. Because life is happening right now. Not when you become rich, not when you lose weight, not when everyone finally approves of you. Right now. Another powerful idea from the book is wherever you are, be there totally. In a world addicted to distraction, full presence has become rare, and rare things become powerful. The book also teaches that watching your thoughts is the beginning of freedom. Because once you realize you are not every thought in your head, fear begins to lose control over you. And maybe the most emotional idea of all is this: most people spend their lives trying to arrive at happiness, without realizing happiness can only exist in the present moment.
So, how can you actually apply this book in real life? Start small. The next time you feel anxious, pause. Take one deep breath. Notice your surroundings. Notice your body. Notice the present moment. When negative thoughts appear, don't immediately believe them. Observe them. When talking to someone, truly listen. When eating, actually taste the food instead of scrolling your phone. When working, focus fully on one task instead of mentally jumping everywhere. Presence sounds simple, but practiced consistently, it becomes life-changing. Because the quality of your life ultimately depends on the quality of your attention. And this book teaches you how to reclaim it. At its core, The Power of Now is not just a self-help book. It's a wake-up call. A reminder that many people are physically alive, but mentally absent from their own lives. Always chasing, always worrying, always waiting for someday. But peace was never hiding in the future. It was hidden in the present moment all along. And maybe that's the biggest transformation this book offers. Not more achievement, not more status, not more possessions, but freedom from the endless noise inside your head. So tonight, before you sleep, put your phone down for a moment. Sit quietly. Take a breath. And ask yourself, when was the last time I truly experienced the present moment? Because according to The Power of Now, that moment might be the beginning of an entirely new life.